Okay, so we went from that scissor sweep. He posted my leg down. I pulled, my leg down, and I pulled his wrist across, right? And I grabbed his armpit, and I went for that cow over the moon sweep. It's kind of what I like to think of it as. But he does this shit, right? His legs are as far apart as they possibly can be. He is he's stuck in this position, but he's based out because he doesn't want to be pulled over. Maybe he has his arm over here. He's posting up. I can't really load on top of him. He's really done everything he can to prevent that sweep by kind of basing out here and getting into this really strong position. So I went for that scissor sweep. He pushed down. I grabbed his wrist. I went here. I grabbed his armpit here. He bases out. For this one, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this leg that he just pushed down, and I'm going to straighten it out. I'm going to bring it out. Okay? And so from here, I'm going to start to back out. I'm still keeping that wrist, so he's still got this kind of twist in his body here because I still have that wrist there. This is going to be his post, so he can't necessarily follow me. And this leg that is underneath him, I'm not going to really worry about it too much. Sometimes what I will do is I'll bring it in a little bit and I'll put it on the inside of this leg. So he's got that base out. I pull my leg out and I put it here. And then as I start to work my way out, if I am going to just try to pull him into the back mount, I'm going to put his leg here, and then as I'm starting to drive him over, move my leg and I move it out to this one, so I can collapse that in. But a lot of times it's not going to necessarily be that necessary. So I pulled my leg out because he pushed it down and now he's basing out. I can't pull him over. So I'm going to move my hand from his armpit down to his hip. So I'm kind of right here at the iliac crest, right at the top of the pelvis bone. I don't necessarily want to be in the flap because that's going to move a lot and it's not going to be as strong. So I want to get onto the hip bone, into the hinge point of the hip. And so I'm out here and I'm going to push back and I'm going to pull. You could try to keep them connected, but I don't necessarily think in this instance it's nearly as strong. So as I start to pull, he's got the tension. He's probably going to be basing out more. I'm going to bring this leg out because he's giving me the room to do that because he can't stop me, otherwise he's going to get rolled. I keep trying to pull out. He's still not going. I bring my leg out to the other side and I keep pushing out, so I'm moving out. Now I've got this blocking, right? So I've got his post on this side. I've got his post on this side. He's got no more way that he can post out. I pull him back and then I throw my leg over and I get that seatbelt grip as soon as possible. All right? So I got his armpit. I've got this pull here. He's trying to base out as much as he can. I'm going to move. Well, I'm gonna keep his armpit grip for now, right? I'm gonna move my hips back, and if I can, I can put my foot on the inside of that first leg. I'm gonna move down to his hip. I'm going to post this low and out, and I back out, and I'm starting to pull. He's probably going to really kind of be heavy on the near side leg here. So he's not going to be able to move it out of the way. So I keep that tension, I keep that thread alive, I bring my foot to the outside of that foot, and then I'm going to start to push it forward as I kind of just slide under him, throw my hooks in, and I get whatever seatbelt grip I can get, right? It might be over here, it might be over here. Now, the thing is that right now, his shoulder is out. Right? So if my head is on the top side because I've got the underhook on this side, he's going to be able to start to flatten out and he's going to be able to start taking side control here. I know I'm locking my ankles here, don't do that. I prefer this. I'm going to put my foot and I'm going to hook it on his hip. I'm going to put the other foot on top of it. I'm going to stop it together. You might not get your points that way in certain tournaments. So I get here because he can start to flatten out. I need to make sure that my head is under his head to block that path. If I'm this way, right, my shoulder, my armpit is blocking him from being able to flatten out on this side. So, you know, I got this gable grip. Maybe I've got, if I can get it, I can get this dog paddle grip. I can get a figure four here. But in either case, right, ankles are not crossed. I know I keep doing it because I'm insecure with the dummy. But I get this, and now he's not going to be able to flatten out if I can get the overhook on the downside, and I don't have to worry about my head being on the underside. If it's the other way around, I need to have my head blocking that path. So I get into this back mount position. Now, he's basing out. He's really fighting me, right? Maybe I'm having trouble getting that leg out. Maybe I'm not able to pull him out. So what I'm going to do is as I'm pulling him and keeping that thread alive, because I need him to be stationary. If I let go of tension at any point, then he's probably going to actually start to react and be able to recoup his position. So I'm continually trying to pull him over to try to at least keep him occupied. It's just the same thing as me breaking down his guard all the time, so he's not, or breaking down his position in the guard all the time, so that he can't continue to try to get out of the guard position. So I'm trying to pull him over. He's being really stubborn. It's not happening. So I'm just going to come up. I'm going to post on these two legs. And I come up and I'm going to get into this position. Now from here, I can just go ahead and roll down if I want to, or I can start to drive my hips in and I can start to flatten him out sometimes, depending, right? So I'm lifting up on that shoulder that I've got hooked and I'm driving my legs back, and now he's flat. And once you have somebody that's perfectly flat, just like with the omoplata, he's gonna not have much room to go ahead and start protecting his neck. He's not going to have as much ability to start to post up and get you off of him. So you can a lot of times just hook his neck and go ahead and go for the rear naked choke in this position. So it's not the end of the world if you don't get to full back mount. If you get into the sprawl position, that's going to be just as powerful. A lot of times when you get into that kind of jockey position where you're just up on top of his back, as long as you've got your hooks in and those are strong and you've got a good seatbelt on the top, he's not going to be able to just roll and get you off, right? So a lot of times what people will do is they'll put their hips up really high and they'll start to do a forward roll. And a lot of times what you can do with that, guys, if you got this, is you just tuck your chin and let him, right? I'm going to end up into this back mount position, which is what I wanted all along. So, you know, a lot of times it's going to be more on a diagonal, but it doesn't make any difference. You follow along with him. So, one last time, we'll get that transition. Right? Breaking down his posture, he doesn't like that. So he starts to build his posture down. Maybe I hook the back of his head. So as he kind of builds his posture up, I ride up with him, posting this elbow, so I can do that relatively easy. I'm going to back my hips out. I'm going to go for that scissor sweep position. So I've got that nice diagonal seatbelt hooking his hip and going into that pec minor region. He's going to take this hand, he's going to push that down because he doesn't want you to scissor sweep him. So I grab his wrist, okay? Not the detachable part that's inside, but I'm actually going to grab the bony part of the wrist. And I connect him to my body like I'm going to do, or I grab his armpit and I'm going to go for that cow over the moon sweep. But he starts to base out, right? So I can't really do that. He's just being really stubborn about it. So I start to back my hips out and I move my hand to his hip and I move my foot to the inside of his knee, back out further. If I can, I'll move my foot to the outside. You don't necessarily have to. A lot of times people will start to go over here and you just connect your elbow to your body and keep driving him over. But if he gets spacing out, you can't do that and you can't get your leg out, that's fine. I'm going to throw my leg over the top. I'm going to go for a seatbelt position of some kind, right? If I can get something like this, that's great. And then I'm going to sprawl out and take that, actually I'm forgetting all of a sudden what that position is called, if it even has a name. But yeah, I'm just going to try to flatten him out so that I can start going for neck attacks and whatnot, because it's going to be really, really hard for him to escape from that position. So there you guys go. That's going to be your a couple sweeps and attacks from the guard position, and I'll see you guys next time.